Hi guys, it's Dan Minigun from Mushroom Cloud Gaming. Today I'll be starting a new video series in which I will be taking a look at the weapon changes caused by the spring patch. As you are all probably aware of, the spring patch has affected the way you use weapons. Some weapons have had significant increase in their spread, rendering them not as effective when fired in full auto. A great example of this would be the AK-971, the infamous spray and pray gun. The weapon we shall be covering today is the M60e4, as you have probably noticed in the background footage. While this weapon has maintained its previous role, that being a long-range to mid-range powerhouse, favoring tap-fire, the changes that have been applied to it have made it an overall easier weapon to use. We will be going into detail as to exactly why this is. First, we must consider the difference between the pre-spring patch and spring patch weapon stats. The best way to appreciate these changes is to look at the other high damage LMGs. These include the M240B and the PKB patch neg. Let's first pop over to the SimTech website and compare the M240B to the M60e4 LMG. The reason I chose the M240B to compare to the M60 as opposed to the PKB patch neg, that's exhausting to say. Anyways, the reason is that in the Battlefield community, there is a common misconception that fire rate dominates everything else in a firearm. The M240B has a cyclic rate of 650 rounds per minute. Considering that it does 33 damage per shot, it can deliver an enormous amount of damage per second, easily one of the highest in the game. However, this damage per second is arguably arbitrary or theoretical. This is because the M240B has simply a horrendous side-to-side recoil of 0.48 to each side. As most of you know, when a weapon possesses a horizontal recoil which is equivalent to each side, it is impossible to compensate for it, as the weapon simply jumps from left to right. Here we have demonstrated the M240B's capability or incapability to produce an accurate burst. Now let's compare this to the M60e4. The first thing you will notice is that it's far easier to control its recoil. The pattern it produced from a 9-shot burst was way more consistent than the M240B's. Another change introduced in the spring patch is what's known as spread increase per shot. This statistic was always present in the game. However, prior to the spring patch, many of the high fire rate weapons did not have such a significant spread increase per shot. But you may ask, what exactly is spread increase per shot? This stat indicates the rate at which bullets will deviate from each other per shot, meaning that a lower value is always superior to a higher one. As a general rule of thumb, weapons following the spring patch update possessing a low fire rate will always have a far lower spread increase per shot than ones with possessing a high fire rate. This is very noticeable in the difference between the M240B and the M60e4. Another important statistic is spread decrease. This basically shows the rate at which you will recover from spread. A lower spread decrease means that the weapon will take longer to recover from spread increase following a shot. In this case, the M60e4 has a much higher spread decrease, meaning that it will recover faster. This spread decrease ensures that the M60e4 is a much more consistent and easier to use weapon than the M240B. This essentially nullifies the M240B's far higher cyclic rate at longer ranges, particularly those passing 50 meters. Alright, now with the statistical details out of the way, let me show how this weapon performs and what it can do in the hands of a skilled user. This clip is from a Rogue Transmission deathmatch server. As you can see, I have 4 times optic equipped on the M60e4. At this range, it is ideal to hip-fire this gun. In this clip, I had no problem wiping out this entire army of enemies by mostly hip-firing this weapon. A big part of this is the extremely low 570 round per minute rate of fire, which also enables the use of a 4-time sight at close range. Also, I did not mention earlier that the M60e4 is obviously a belt-fed light machine gun. This is relevant because all belt-fed LMGs have been slightly nerfed in the spring patch in terms of their spread while ADSing and moving. This essentially means that hip-firing this weapon while moving at close range is way more effective than ADSing. This is because the ADS spread is way too high to warrant the penalty to movement speed. Side-to-side strafing is obviously your friend. As far as attachments go, the M60e4 benefits immensely from the heavy barrel, but suffers greatly by using the muzzle brake or compensator, which honestly are pointless attachments on this weapon. The use of a 4-time sight is also a fantastic option, as the M60e4 can be devastating at medium to long ranges. Plus, its ability to hip-fire all those enemies down at close range ensures that the use of a 1-time sight is almost impractical or pointless on this gun. However, it's not to say that it's completely useless, as you can pretty much be a light machine gun surgeon with a 1-time sight. In this clip, I will show the potential of the M60e4 when fired in single shots. This can be truly devastating at long ranges. As you can see, the shot pattern is completely perfect and on target. To conclude with, the M60e4 has seen changes that has made it statistically superior to its peers, mostly the M240B and to a lesser extent the BKP. Its extremely steady 570 rounds per minute can ensure swift and accurate death at all ranges. The ideal attachments for this weapon are a 4-time sight for long-range combat, a laser sight to augment close-range hip-fire capability. An ergo or vertical grip can further increase this capability. Provided that you are a stationary player, a stubby grip is also a fantastic option on this gun. Admittedly, this weapon has a considerable learning curve and is not for beginners. This is because a muscle memory knowledge of spread control is required to use it effectively. My conclusion though is that it is one of the most reliable LMGs you can have. It scores highly in accuracy, damage and also adaptability. Its only weaknesses are its obstructive front sight, which is very noticeable at ranges exceeding 200 meters and is honestly downright annoying and cruel. Another considerable weakness is that it requires the second assault DLC or being a premium member, which really sucks in my opinion, as it seems to be the easiest to use high damage belt-fed LMG. I seriously doubt that a new player will be able to use the M240B or even the PKP thanks to its low muzzle velocity. That's pretty much all I had to say of the M60e4. And right hands, it's a really effective weapon, capable of dealing to all situations. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Hopefully, we'll be looking at the new SR338, which has gone through a huge facelift. Good day and bye bye.